Junior bankers work long hours. It's a fact of life that some banks try to shy away from and others are more upfront about. An impending court case involving boutique bank Centerview partners, though, focuses on just how many hours you really have to work and how much sleep you can really get. One of its analysts was willing to work 98-hour weeks, and that still wasn't enough. Find out why on the Coffee Run. This week's top story focuses on a Manhattan court case filed by former Centerview analyst Kathryn Shiber, originally filed in 2021. She's accusing the bank of discriminatory animus, which destroyed her career and mental health. She's looking for $5 million in damages. Shiber said that she was subject to humiliating and demeaning conduct, and that those 3 months will remain a source of humiliation, distress, and financial loss for the foreseeable future. Shiber, aged 21 at the time, was already diagnosed with anxiety disorder, which Centerview tried to accommodate at first. Shiber's disability required her to get 8 hours of sleep each night. Centerview initially agreed to allow her to have 9 hours off between midnight and 9 AM, but then fired her and allegedly said she couldn't do the job and never should have accepted it. Shiber was willing to work up to 98 hours in spite of her anxiety. She worked from 9 AM to midnight all 7 days of the week towards the end of her time at Centerview. This still was not enough. It's the rigidity around Shiber's hours that Centerview didn't seem to be a fan of. Business Insider reported that in court depositions, Centerview said weekly working hours could be as low as 60, but they could also be as high as 120, and that 24-hour days were rare but sometimes required. It's feasible that analysts could work less than 98 hours on average, but erratic hours are the nature of the beast. Shiber said that Centerview told her the job would require many 120-hour weeks over the 3 years, which she should have known. Jonathan Tristan, a former Deutsche Bank analyst turned influencer, developed insomnia while working in banking and likened the job to being an on-call doctor. The work isn't always hard, but the challenge is being available at any hour of the day or night. As Shiber's case heads into court, both she and Centerview are scrutinising how the case will be allowed to play out. Shiber wants people on the jury who are sympathetic to discrimination law. Centerview suggested that jury members be asked whether they've requested accommodation for their own disability at work in case there's a potential conflict of interest. Shiber wants her ex-therapist, Kylie Mugenberg, to testify about the emotional distress she experienced at the bank, but Centerview had multiple issues with this. The bank thought her perspective was too one-sided, having only heard about events through Shiber. It also thought she hadn't considered alternative sources of Miss Shiber's distress, and that she had been introduced too late into proceedings. Centerview contested the notion that Shiber's brief time at Centerview had a negative impact on her career as well. It said she identified no evidence indicating she would have completed the 3-year analyst program, let alone received a promotion to associate. The FT reported that Shiber has earned over $500,000 since leaving Centerview, having gone to work in the finance team at Google. She earned an average of $116,000 per year since leaving, which, to be fair, is far below the average Centerview analyst. A report from Liquidity a few years ago suggested first-year Centerview analysts are paid $205,000 in total, while third-year associates are on over $800,000. $500,000 is nothing to scoff at, however, and the tacit expectation is that increasingly ludicrous pay is a reward for working such long and erratic hours. Having a name like Centerview on your CV, even for a short period, can also open doors. It's not yet clear whether it played a role, positive or negative, in Shiber's application to Google. If Shiber wins her case, it theoretically has widespread implications for the nature of banking analyst roles, but you'd have good reason to be doubtful as to whether it would change anything. Protecting long hours for juniors has been a contentious subject ever since the death of Bank of America associate Moritz Erhardt, who was found dead after allegedly working 72 hours straight. The larger banks, like JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs, began to make Saturdays a protected day off for juniors and place hard hourly limits on how many hours they could work. Boutiques like Centerview tended not to have these protected days. While Erhardt's death seemed to have set the banking industry on a more sustainable track, a spate of deaths in recent years has somewhat shattered that illusion. The most famous of them is Leo Lucanas, a Bank of America associate who died from heart complications amid accusations of working 120-hour weeks. Bank of America said its records did not show that he was working that much, but a subsequent investigation by the Wall Street Journal found that many juniors were being pressured by their managers to not log all of their hours. Nearly 40 bankers corroborated with the Journal that working off the books, as it's called, was a common practice. At boutiques, meanwhile, protections have also been skirted. Mid-market bank Robert Baird, for example, is supposed to protect Saturdays for its juniors, but it reportedly frequently made exemptions in its industrials team so that analysts could work 110-hour weeks. The Wall Street Journal reported last year on an infamous pizza party at Baird for a group of analysts and associates working in industrials. They'd been working until 4 a.m. regularly and presumed the pizza was a reward for their hard work. Instead, their managers said they need to step up and do more. When the juniors noted they'd been working such long hours, managers said they weren't being efficient enough with their time. Notable deaths in boutiques are less common. The biggest in recent years is Lazard intern Helen Chen. She died on her way back from a New York Mets game that she attended with other interns as organised by the bank. She fainted in the subway and was struck by a train. All of this is to say, investment banking has had plenty of time to see the error of its ways and is still yet to do so. Despite this, applicants are streaming in. Bank of America had just a 10% turnover rate with associates despite that working off the books. Leo Lucanas's brother, Les, joined Goldman Sachs last summer, and Shiber said that Centerview Partners was her dream career. For the majority who get in, it seems giving up the opportunity to sleep 8 hours is a worthwhile pound of flesh. Thanks for watching The Coffee Run. If you want daily updates on the biggest stories in banking and financial services, subscribe to Morning Coffee, our weekday newsletter. Every Friday, we pick the biggest story of the week and dive deeper right here on The Coffee Run.